This is a bad place to be when you can't put a few words together, a thought together. Trust me. Happened to me yesterday in class. It's like, so here's the deal. All right, I'm going to give you some background first. You know, back in the 60s were a pivotal time because there was a revolution. Those of us who were there, I actually wasn't a child of the 60s. I didn't even graduate high school till in the 70s, but I was very cognizant of the 60s. I watched this world change, you know. And there were people that were on the planet who stood up and said that things need to be different. And people listened. The Kennedys and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Gloria Steinem and there's many more I'm sure that I'm missing, but they stood up and then and our music changed. And we as happens when things shift, sometimes we go way over to one side before we kind of bring it. So, the sexual revolution came and drugs and all that sort of thing. And, but all of that, we were sort of pushed into that change because of, and that's going to sound strange if you don't understand it, but there were actually, it was a timing. We were meant, that revolution, people were on the planet at that time, ready to wake up, and what happened was there was a series of Uranus-Pluto squares, and if you want to talk at astrology, right? And that actually, the Great Awakener, and the metamorphosis and all this stuff. Well, so we went from there, and a lot of us went back to sleep. A lot of people pushed the snooze button, but it was really interesting. A couple of things that happened is the pieces were already in place. Some of the yoga masters had already come to the West, and like Yogananda, but he left the body in 52. Once he left, he was the charismatic, the amazing master. Once he left the body by the 60s, there was not a lot of interest. The people who didn't know Yogananda, the young people weren't being drawn to meditation and yoga. And so what happened, so strategic, you look at the universe, it's so fascinating. So this old yogi incarnates as a musician, joins this group that is destined to become the Beatles, and when they get all the fame and fortune they could possibly handle, where did he turn? This old yogi says, let's look to India. Let's learn to meditate. So these guys go to India and they hook up with the Maharishi, and the whole world watches. And a whole bunch of people wake up. And including the Maharishi and all of the movements that were in place at that time, including Yogananda's, became magnets for people who said, yes, there's another way. I remember this in a past life. I remember being a yogi. I remember meditating. I remember that's why I'm supposed to be here, to have my own spiritual awakening. Life is supposed to be different. And so many of us found the path at that time. I know I did, pretty young, and put down a lot of the toys that were numbing the consciousness. But and humanity, to a great extent, continued their growth. And many of us in the 90s, especially the 80s, there was Notre Dame became popular again. People were talking about his predictions and Edgar Cayce and all that, and the Mayans. And it's, oh my goodness, are we going to survive the millennia? But you know what? And of course we did. But the reason we did, because enough of us stayed awake. There was what these seers, these were true seers, but what they saw was a potential. And we beat the odds. We beat the potential, and we're still here. So the reason I bring that up is, so here we are. On Friday, we had the fourth of Uranus-Pluto square again. This morning, the fourth one, there's going to be, how many? 7? Between now and 2015. And it's supposed to do this. Wake up! No, No, I'm going to go back to sleep. No, wake up. You know, so there's 7 of them, so nobody can fall back to sleep if you're even somewhat conscious. But this morning we had a new moon, new beginning. We had an solar eclipse, did you know that? When one body goes between 2 other bodies, it breaks up the energy. Wake up. So the reason I'm bringing this up again is I wasn't going to, but here's the deal. November 1st is All Saints' Day. It's not just an old one tradition. If you're brought up Catholic, that will ring a bell, right? We had to actually take my mother to church because it was a holy day of obligation, right? So, but it's not. It's a change of energy. It's not just. There's a reason why the ancients wanted everyone to go to their temple on that day or their church on that day. It's a shift in energy, and this is where it gets a little personal. This is the part that I have a little bit of trouble. But I'm going to say it anyway because it's important. It's part of the wake up. And it's my main message today, and it's this. On Tuesday night, I had an experience in the inner worlds. And this is what I can tell you from that experience. And you can believe it or not. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. I believe it. And I'm doing something about it. Did you say you did or you didn't?
So do I.
Okay, good. And what happened in the inner worlds is it looked like a temple. We were in an inner temple, and I had some personal training happening. But then after my personal one-on-one training with a master, actually a Lord that I'm very close with, been close with his whole life, after I spent some time with him, he took me around the temple. And there were people there that had been brought in too, when we're sleeping sometimes, when we're open to training and when we're open to receive, we're taken out of our body and we're taken to these inner temples and we have learning there. Did you know that? And if you give permission, if you ask your teachers to take you, if you need help with something, say, take me to, say for instance, you're going through a physical challenge. And by the way, a lot of people, their body is talking to them right now. Listen to your body. It's telling you where you could have energy stuck. Another way of saying it, it's telling you where you need healing, but not just in the body. So don't discount the body, okay? It's very important. But we're taken from our bodies. It's very safe. We have our guardians. We have all this. Believe me, I know the metaphysical fail-safe system. It's very safe when you're taken, when you're escorted. So I don't personally do astral travel on my own. I never have. That's not safe. But when you're taken by the holy ones, that is very safe. So some of you were there. Friends that I know that are doing awakening work were there. And I'll tell you the bottom line. Something's going to happen. And it's good. All the work that we've been doing, there's an awakening coming. There is an awakening coming, and we're an important part of it. Each and every one of us, yes. Maria's in back. Yes. All the work we've been doing, all the enduring, all the healing, all the meditating, all the changing of our lifestyle. And as I look out, I see some of you have made great changes in your lifestyle. Congratulations, you are right on time. Stay there. Stay steady. Stay steady, because one lie in the 60s is that, and when I say this, I get books and quotes from people, and guess what? I don't want it because I don't want to hear it. The masters say you cannot take any kind of hallucinatory drug and get permanent God consciousness. You can't do it. Drugs are from the dark forces to numb us. The soul power, what Yogi Bhajan was saying, it's time to awaken our soul power. But I'm telling you, we are being prepared and it's coming. Something is coming. And I don't know if it's going to be mass. I have the sense that it is. And I don't know whether it's, this sometimes something negative, like for instance, if you look at, in Syria, that Assad had the gall to use chemical weapons against his own people. But what happened? The entire world said, don't do that again. We won't stand for it. They didn't say, well, it's not my country, it doesn't matter. They said, don't you dare. Because my sisters and my brothers live in Syria. The walls are coming down. We're beginning to think in terms of us and not me. So whether this is an awakening of the individual or the collective, or a collective waking the individual, it doesn't matter. Here's my last thought for you. I realized that it came right, that happened right, there's Halloween, and then, which is interesting because it's an interesting time to look at our own darkness and laugh at it. Laugh at it. And take it off as if it's a costume, because it is. It's a graft on the soul. It's not our truth, no matter what habit we carry. We all have a monkey of some sort on our backs, right? Doesn't matter, take it off. But here we are, and we're in the West, so we'll talk about the Judeo-Christian, what's coming up now, right? As of November 1st, what happens is there's a thinning of the veils. There's also, as when the masters and the lords and the teachers of all faiths, souls that we know and we're familiar with, and souls that we've never heard of, but the power, the real power, people who hold the power in the inner worlds, the spiritual ones, they collect their energies. And as the veils thin, we can drink from their energies. We can be lifted up. So in other words, in this holy season, whether you're a Jew or a Christian, whether you're planning on celebrating the solstice, whatever it is, Kwanzaa, whatever is your path, take it very seriously. Look at the symbolism, because, and if you don't have a path, that's okay too. If yoga's your path, if you're finding your way, it doesn't matter. Just be awake and aware. Because there are breadcrumbs that have been dropped in these ancient teachings that if we pick up, all we need are triggers. We're just needing the triggers, and to be present and just say yes and take our time through life. Feel the thinning of the veils. Feel the masters coming close. Because toward solstice will kick it off, and then on Christmas Eve, the veils get the thinnest that they will get. And as the world spins, the teachers of all paths, like I said, of all paths and no paths, will hold right above the earth, right above the New Jerusalem. Did you know it's a spiritual capital of the planet? Do you know that's why there's so much trouble there? Is the dark forces and the light forces are trying, it's a huge portal. And they'll hold there, and the world will turn, and they'll just shower light. But again, it's not about a religious holiday. From now till the end of the year, make your mind up to take this season very seriously. And I can only tell you from what I experienced on the inner, we will change, and we will have a state of consciousness that we've not experienced permanently in this lifetime. We all have little glimpses of it, right? But we're the forerunners of the new race. It starts now. Let's take it very seriously. And what I'm trying to do here, and if you want to join, I don't have the dates yet, but I want to do a Friday night and all day Saturday, and do ceremony and yoga and meditation, and together as a group, welcome in this new energy and make our bodies, minds, hearts, and souls as receptive as we can possibly be. Because for many of us, this is the party we've been waiting for. The revolution is here. The revolution is here. Our revolutionized consciousness is going to change the world, and it's started.
So as I look out and look at all of you this morning, really, truly, your attention span has improved since Swami Vivekananda came over in the turn of the century as the first yogi with the ochre robe, first introduction to Eastern thought, to the Western world. And at that time, he said the attention span for the adult person was about 19 seconds that we could hold. Now, not like watching TV or something that is habitual, because you guys get in a trance when you do that. But he said when it's something that's really beneficial for the soul, when it's something that is waking up, he said we had about 19 seconds. I look out now at all of you, and I know it's gone up to about 24 seconds now. I know it. Hey, every second is huge. You can't look at it in terms linear. You've got to know that this progression to waking up it's a deep hypnosis, right? It's a lifetime to lifetime carryover. And we start a new life, and if we're not careful, we carry over the same bags, and they get heavier each lifetime. And it just gets heavier and heavier until we do have these awakenings or these wake-up calls, right? Or you find yourself with your back against the wall, or there's no place else to turn. Most humans learn that way, and something inside of them calls out to their higher power because they really have exhausted all of their resources. Now we, I think, are much further along than being at rock bottom. When I look out, I see such a beautiful rapt attention. It's not coming just from your thinking minds and from what you think is your life. It's coming from that beautiful essence of you. And it's so gorgeous right now that I can't help but feel who's sitting between the physical forms in this room and around us right now. Because if you ever want to know who are the real heroes, it's those divine ones who have been asked by the Supreme to be our watchers and our guardians and our teachers and our guides, and for as long as it takes. And I remember in the 60s, late 60s, I was serving tables at the Chart House up in Santa Barbara. And it was my first hint of my teacher, Paramahansa Yogananda. And it happened the weirdest way, because I had my little section of tables. And I was walking by a table, and I heard someone say, and it was the first time my ears heard it, in this body anyway, Paramahansa Yogananda. And I swear, I literally stopped cold. Right where I was. I probably had a bunch of dishes to serve to a table. I stopped cold because, I had the God bumps times 10 go through my whole system. I didn't know what it was. I just heard the word Paramahansa Yogananda. And my whole system registered. Such is a deep bond and friendship we all have with those ones sitting next to you right now, invisibly. It's insane. And I know that's why you are looking a little better than you have maybe last life, and that your attention span is deepened. It's because of their help. And all that we really need to do now in the new day to wake up, because we have done this. We have done everything we think we could do to wake up. And we still need to do that. We need to put out our best effort and let them, the holy ones, do the rest. Is to stop often during the day with no agenda and just be still and quiet and place them consciously, if you have them, or you just start dreaming up holy ones, whether you put faces to them or they're real holy ones that have been through history and have marked this and graced our world, but you put them all around you. This is the best practice. And you sit right in the center and know that you have nothing to perform, you have nothing to say to them, you don't have to wiggle out of anything, you don't have to wiggle into anything, you don't have to ask for this and ask for that, because they know everything about you. And I know some of you are still, seeking relationships, the great long-term lifetime relationships and friendship. It takes a little effort, doesn't it, to kind of reveal yourself, to get to know this other person, to kind of find where the differences are and how you can come to maybe a higher place, spiritually. That takes a while. But with the holy ones, they don't take any time. They know you inside and out. They get you. You don't have to ever explain anything to them. You don't have to ever say anything, well, where were you? Why did you do that again? Ever, never. It's not even in the equation. Your presence is plenty to them. That's why they can hover around you for lifetimes and lifetimes with infinite patience, loving you, never seeing you as flawed or damaged goods at all. They are just there. And so this practice of you can't do it enough. Stop. Stop it. To move forward, be still. That's a whole new paradigm shift, isn't it? To move forward, be still. To be in the highest action, don't do. Be. And feel like as you put them around you, I have Larry Mahashai, Swami Sri Yukteswar covering my rear. I have Yogananda and Babaji here. But that doesn't mean I don't have Christ and Krishna and Heavenly Father, Divine Mother. I surround myself. And I feel emanating from them, from their God consciousness, divine consciousness, from their spiritual eyes or their heart centers, just beams. So I'm surrounded by just beams. And it's coming right through the back door of my heart and the front door of my heart and into my crown and into my spirit. So it's like, and all I do is sit there and try to be as still as possible and say thank you. And receive endless blessings. That's it. That's it. That's it. And that's where the blessings, the endless blessings of the divine to you, like our song, wave after wave of divine love is crashing on the shores of my heart. Paramahansa Yogananda used to say, wave after wave of divine love is crashing on the shores of my heart. And the only reason that you're not feeling is because you don't want to. You have something else you might want to do. You might like the idea, but you don't put your whole faith and whole being in it and sit there and bake in the oven of your meditation and your own self-realization until you can break through the numbness of the heart, right? And all the distractions and all the limitations and the mind saying this and that. All the things that you can't do and you're not good enough. We just aren't patient enough. But one by one, each one of you is getting clear of that, and there's becoming more of a resolve, more of a soul determination. Some of you are actually putting your foot down. And the first chakra that we have is really this no power. Second is yes power. But the no power is really, really insanely important because NO, not optional, meaning that if the mind wants to pull you back and you know it's not going to give you this uplift and this updraft, that you know, because you guys are really smart now, really spiritually smart. You know this, and that's why it can be deep depressions along with this roller coaster we're on right now, because you all know so darn much spiritually. But this no and putting your foot down is such a power you have. You know, to fall back, to push the snooze button. We did that already. And now it's not as permissible as it was then. The age, the time has changed, and each one of us is needed to hold a vibration for our world. Hold a vibration. Hold a feeling of higher consciousness that makes you feel so divine for our world. Don't look out and think what you need to do to change it. Go within. I had one story in the ashram right when I went in. I mean within a week. And I saw the young monks going to open doors to offices and rooms of the brothers who were in charge, and they'd be like 4 or 5 trying to open the door for them. I go, oh my God, I can't. How am I going to fit in? There's already 4 or 5 guys trying to open the door. But finally I did. I got to a door first to open the door to the senior monk. It was to his office. I'll never forget this. I opened the door, and you know what my habit was, my human inclination was to look inside. And as soon as I looked inside and he stepped inside the door slammed in my face. Slammed in my face. I learned real fast in the ashram this lesson, and it's time for all of us to mind your own friggin' business. Mind your own friggin' business. So much of your energy and thought energy and feeling energy is worried about everybody else and everything that's going on outside of you. You know, it's like, keep your focus on your own plate. Now, some of you are still even complaining about what's on your plate. But I'll tell you, in the new energy and why waking up is so important, I'll tell you what's on your plate now. And it's really worth focusing in. All of your divine soul qualities are on this plate. You know, it's like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. You've heard that saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? Don't bite the hand that gives you the breath of life. Same sense, right? So you want to start loving the hand that feeds you and start loving the breath that comes in, because it's going to be the first one that it says to you, wake up. Your breath, and your breath alone is breath is your religion. Remember that guy who had the song, Love is Our Religion? I want to change it now to breath is our religion. And every breath is a gift to help you take in such a deep breath of faith, full attention in your heart, that you guys are helping yourself wake up. And if you haven't seen Samuel Jackson's video that he did in the Obama re-election with Mitt Romney and all that, have you seen it? Wake the F Up video. Google it today. Now forget the politics that's involved in there, and just put the battle of your ego wanting you to stay asleep but thinking that you're awake, right? Versus the soul that is so humble, it just whispers. It's so humble, it won't come and force you like the ego wants to force change. Your ego, your soul is so humble. See the video that way. The battle between staying asleep and waking up. It is a classic. And here's what you want to wake up to. Samuel Jackson, Google it, it's great.
He did this morning when he couldn't sleep.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep. This thing, this solar and all this stuff. Trisha's in there. She's conked out because she goes to the inner temples, right? I just stay awake on the surface of life like this. She's gone. She doesn't move in her bed. I'm like, get up, do something, go meditate, come back. And it's like, wow. She wakes up in the morning like, wow. You should have been where I was just at. I'm going, oh man, you're a lucky girl. I get a couple hours, I'm in good shape, right? So what I'm saying is, what's on our plate is this. This is why this is so worth it, my friends. This is so worth it. To put all our chips, bank everything on your soul nowadays. You don't know how much time you have left. I would, while you guys are still walking in here and you're still breathing and you're still feeling okay, make hay while the sun is shining. Make hay. Make every day a training day. A training day of your consciousness that somehow, some way, you're going to help the divine and the holy ones who are just unbelievable, your best friends, to wake up. And one reason is this, is that every part of you is divine. Every piece of you is God. St. Catherine said this quote, this is a keeper. My me is God, nor do I recognize any other me but God himself. My me is God, nor do I recognize any other me but God himself. First chakra, no to anything that says I'm lesser than this divinity that I am. Because you're like a Christmas tree that never goes off. From your first chakra all the way up to your crown chakra, with divine, sparkling, infinite soul qualities. Wow. Now do you understand how it might be a little easier to mind your own business? And keep your eyes on your own plate? As soon as you look out and compare yourself for others, Yogananda said, it is spiritual suicide. As soon as you look out and compare yourself with someone else's life, and in the spiritual life, it's easy to do. It's spiritual suicide. But you don't need to do that anymore because you are so sparkling, divine qualities that now if we can just focus on them rather than trying to put problem solving first and going back and looking at the dark spots and trying to remove them, you don't need to do that anymore. Just focus on the diamond bright soul qualities that light your being up like a Christmas tree, from your root chakra all the way to the crown chakra. Because you are dazzling, 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 dazzling divinity. And then, the best fun of all, hold on to that positive. Hold on to an insight that you get from focusing in. You know what true humility is? It's looking inside and saying, OMG, OMG. It's you. It's not me. It's you. That's true humility. And then let yourself, express the realization of that. Hold it for the world. You don't need to leave your homes. You guys don't need to go do charitable work. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Just hold the vibration. You are the world, guys and girls. You are the world. So we need to change our perception and raise our vibration and sit in our homes and walk to work and whatever else we do and go grocery shopping, and I'll end now. I'm getting a little revved up now. Now you know why it's so hard for me not to be like full blast with all of you. Because as I wake up, all I want to do is just make sure you wake up with me. Yeah. Hold the vibration that you want to feel, and you want every being to feel. Forget about looking out to the show. Trust the faith, then the sight, then your human sight. Walk with your whole attention riveted on who you are. Riveted. You are creating the reality of the new day. And it's an inside track, and it's an inside job. And no one else can do that. To create a brave new world, you and I, when you keep your mind on your own business, your own business of unlocking and untapping your full potential of God joy and God happiness and God peace and God loving and God realization and God bliss. If you're in, just give me knuckles. Thank you. I know you are. I see it in your eyes, baby. I can see it in your eyes.